Most men think that when their wife says she wants a divorce, the right move is to finally show her how much they care. But if your wife has already said the word divorce, there is one reaction that guarantees she'll become more emotionally closed, and most men think they're doing the right thing. The most dangerous part is that the more sincere you are when you do this, the faster it convinces her that leaving is the correct decision. So in this video, I'm going to show you what the exact reaction is that ruins your leverage, destroys emotional safety, and quietly locks her into the decision to walk away, even if she hasn't filed yet. And if you want any real chance of stabilizing the situation, you need to understand this before your next conversation with her. Before I jump in, if you appreciate me making this type of content, gently tap the like button because it genuinely helps the channel out. So what is the reaction I'm talking about that will almost give you no chance to save your marriage if you do it? Well, I'm talking about emotional collapse disguised as care or being caring. And if that sounds a bit too confusing or too psychological, I completely understand, because I used to do this in my younger years when I thought it was the right thing to do, and I had no idea that it sabotaged all my romantic relationships for over a decade. But here are some of the ways that emotional collapse disguised as care show up, and throw a comment below if any of these sound familiar in the patterns that you have done. You over-explain yourself, you reassure her constantly, you apologize again and again, and this is one I painfully relate to because I'd be apologizing for things I didn't even really know why or what I thought I should apologize for, and it comes off as very inauthentic, even if you're genuinely just trying to stem the bleeding and make things better. So you pour your heart out and try and reinforce how much you love her, you promise her that you're going to change, and you try to prove how serious you are about those changes and making everything right. If you want to hear some really concrete examples of what these can sound like, it's you saying things like this: I'll do anything to fix this, or just tell me what you need and I will do it, or I've realized everything now that I've done is wrong, so let's talk more and let's just talk this through. To be quite honest, from your point of view, it feels like you are taking responsibility to show up and start showing that vulnerability and do the right thing. But unfortunately, all the signs of care that you believe you are showing her, even if it is stemming from a heartful care and you're realizing that divorce is a real possibility and you don't want that for your family, these actions actually signal to her that you have emotional collapse, and her nervous system intuitively reads it that way. What men don't realize is that the emotional unsafety and heaviness of this feeling didn't just appear immediately for her. She's felt this for some time. What your actions really do is accelerate her emotional exit even faster. And as much sense as it makes to us as men that, yes, if I genuinely start to show care and show these caring ways that have been lacking in the relationship, it's going to start to build more closeness between you two. When something you love is threatened, as a man, your system does exactly what it's designed to do. It tries to grab on harder. Like if you're walking down a flight of stairs and you start to slip, your body doesn't calmly evaluate how to handle this threatening situation. You immediately panic and start to flail and reach out to the railing, right, to grab it. That's what's happening emotionally when your wife throws divorce onto the table. You're not thinking, how do I lead this moment well? You're thinking, how do I stop this pain like right now? And that's where everything goes wrong. From her perspective, this over-engagement sends a very specific message. You are telling her that you lose your masculine center as soon as she starts to show signs of pulling away. And once that dynamic appears, this is what makes it so much harder for her attraction to rebuild, even if she still loves you and when you are doing these caring things. This is why you hear women in this situation say things like, it's not that I don't love you, things just feel different now and I don't know why. It's not because you didn't care enough, it's because your care comes from fear of losing her and the relationship. So if attraction, safety, and respect do not come from increasing the intensity of care and love that you show to her, where do they come from? The answer to that question is that they come from containment. The mistake men make is that when she's emotionally overwhelmed, she doesn't want more emotion from you. She just wants less emotional chaos. If she already feels like the relationship is emotionally unstable and then you become unstable, there's no anchor left in the relationship. She isn't going to process your care as love, and that's what makes her feel like she has to escape. And this is why men say things like, I opened up to her and it made it worse, or I finally told her how much I cared and she shut down even more. It confuses the hell out of you because that's what you're shown to do based on societal conditioning. You pour your heart out and you be vulnerable, and it's supposed to draw her back in. but in actuality, it doesn't do anything for you on the positive side. This is because she's not evaluating your intentions. It's now about how her nervous system evaluates your emotional positioning. When you start showing vulnerability without having any self-regulation emotionally, it causes her to feel unsafe. A relationship under threat needs one thing above all else, and that is someone who can hold the emotional weight without collapsing under it. I think of this as the containment principle. And this is truly critical to any thriving relationship. As the masculine leader in the relationship, you have to contain the emotional weight and make sure it doesn't descend into chaos. If you are the one who emotionally collapses, the containment is completely broken and that boat is going to sink. So what about if you actually start to implement this advice and stop over reassuring her, you stop over apologizing, and essentially stop chasing her emotionally, but then the immediate reaction you get from her is a poor one? Well, this is where a lot of men get confused and where a lot of bad advice gets created by others trying to help them. Let's say her immediate reaction to you doing this is telling you things like, you don't love me, or she starts being cold and she starts becoming even more hostile towards you. Here's what's actually happening. She's not reacting to the loss of love from you. She's reacting to the loss of emotional control. For a long time, her nervous system was used to you collapsing and then chasing her, basically being the doting guy who's trying to fix her feelings for her. When that stops and you start showing up differently, it feels unfamiliar to her and unpredictable, threatening even to her. So she tests it. And this can be done consciously by her, but to be honest, most of the time women do it subconsciously, but their hostility can actually increase when you're acting the right way. Her reaction is not proof you're doing it wrong. It's actually proof that the dynamic has changed because you decided to show up in a different manner than you usually do. Where most men become confused is when they get this test from their wife, they see that reaction from her and they immediately revert back to the way they were because they think it's not working. You panic and you think, man, that didn't work. And then your sister or your mom tells you to get in there and tell her how much you feel and that you're so sorry for seeming like you were cold, and just tell her how much you love her and tell her how much you need her over and over again. But then you go and do that and things get even worse. So it becomes a vicious cycle in the relationship until it's collapsed and gone for good. Another piece of advice that is conflicting to most men is that they are told, just give it time. Time only helps if the pattern has changed. If your emotional reflex is still to collapse, time's going to work against you because under stress, you're going to continue to revert to those actions that push her away the more you believe time is running out. And all it takes is one bad moment to confirm her fear that nothing is different and you are never going to change. This is why men say, I was doing well for like a week or so and she seemed like she was responding differently to me. And then we got into one argument where I got upset and it ruined everything and she told me I will never change. It wasn't the argument, it was the old nervous system pattern resurfacing when you were on the big stage and put under pressure. And this causes her subconscious fear to confirm, yes, he's not going to change. I want to be very clear here. If your only goal is to get her back, you will most likely collapse again because you are focusing so much on that lack in your life, which is the thought of losing her and the relationship. And that fear is going to drive you and stop you from becoming the man who is actually strong enough to be the emotional leader for her when the world starts shaking. Whether the relationship survives or not, building the masculine leadership skills will determine how you show up as a father if you have kids, how you would show up in your next relationship, and the self-respect you have as you lead your life. Those are crucial points and must be understood. These skills are the key to saving your marriage, but they're also the key to living a fulfilling life. So if you're watching this and realizing that every instinct you have is pushing you towards collapse, it's because us men are pretty much conditioned by society to not have any proper emotional leadership skills. And the thing is, they're the actual basis of every successful marriage. Inside my free masterclass, I walk you through the step-by-step framework that teaches you how to regulate yourself in real time and build the overall skills to be the masculine leader in your marriage that your wife has been craving. This is the true path to saving your marriage and turning it around. So click the link in the description below and watch it today. This moment in your life is a crossroads. You can keep reacting from fear, or you can become anchored. And based on my own experience, I strongly suggest you take that step to watch the masterclass today. Also, please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode.